we want to go to our telephone now and welcome in Coach Dale Pruitt of the Plainview Bears. His team got a big win last night on the road at Good Hope. Good evening, Coach. Welcome into scoreboard, and congratulations. The game last night, you moved it up because of the weather, but great game for your football team in front of a fantastic crowd over at Good Hope last night.
Thank you, Jeff. It was a great crowd over there. Large crowd, great night for football. I think our fans traveled extremely well. They had a good home bunch also. Thought our kids played pretty well. Didn't play perfect, but played hard and moved us on to the semifinals.
Well, Coach, seemed like you pretty much dominated the football game. I don't know what the stats ended up being, but halftime I was listening to the broadcast. You had just about doubled them in yards, and especially in rushing yards, over 220 or 250 there at halftime. But I thought possibly the biggest play of the game was right before halftime. And you were able to put a drive together and score. Instead of being like 14-7 at halftime, it went to 21-7 and gave you a 2-score lead going into the half.
Yes, that's huge. We always put emphasis on the middle eight, and we scored right before half, and we come out and didn't score right after half, but we stopped them, which we needed to, and eventually stuck it in. So, yes, that is very important. That's a big turnaround.
Well, Coach, I want to talk about, I know your offense has been good just about every week, but the last couple of weeks, when you get into the playoffs, Alexandria last week, Good Hope this week, they're outstanding on offense. And the last 2 weeks, I mean, your defense gave up like a couple of scores last week, 1 score on the road last night, and they're really playing at the top of their game right now.
Yes, they're playing a little better each week. Going on the road in the playoffs is very, very tough. I think we had checked, or I didn't check. Someone had told me that we'd been on the road on the third round like 3 times, and our record was 1-2 or something like that. Or we've been on the road 4 times, it's 1-3. So that tells you a little bit about going on the road and that deep in the playoffs. So. They say defense travels, so I thought our defense played very well. We put some pressure on the quarterback, done really well in the secondary, made some plays, give up some plays that by alignment that we got to correct it. But we're pretty young back there, and we're learning every week. But we gotta shore it up as far as not blowing assignments. They get after you and tackle you and that kind of stuff, but we got to get lined up correctly and play the right stuff, or the teams we got left will burn you. But I thought we played well.
Well, Coach Pruitt, there's no secret to Jeremy Pruitt's an excellent defensive coach, and he puts a lot on these guys on the defensive side of the football. Does he give offenses a lot of looks that normally high school teams don't see?
I think he does. We may put something in at walkthrough on Friday that he's picked up as far as different formation or whatever, and our kids have done a really good job trying to adapt to that. We have a lot of checks. Creek Johnson makes most of our checks. He does a great job doing that, and that's not easy because we live in a world of people do it 1 or 2 ways. Either they huddle up and don't let you see what they're going to line up in, or they try to go real fast to where you can't call it. And the bunch we played this past week, and you get all these formations, but most of the time you get different personnel, like 12 personnel, 11 personnel, 10 personnel. Well, they did most of it all with 1 personnel. They did change personnel occasionally, but most everybody, if they go 4 wides, don't have a tight end in the ball game. They might have 1 tight end, or you might, sometimes they may have 3 tight ends in the ball game. So we substitute when they substitute, and so that's really helped us. It's helped us keep more kids fresh, and it helps our kids give a little edge, I think.
Yeah, because it seems like this team has really improved on the defensive side of the ball, and that's probably a young team growing up. Better communication on the field, and so that makes them a lot more effective against the other team. Well, Coach, I want to ask you this. I mean, this is a football question. When it gets playoff time this late in the season, I know football's a business a lot of times, but especially when you have a big win like you had last night, do coaches kind of get caught up in that, in becoming sort of like a kid again? Because it has to be fun to watch these kids celebrate.
Well, if it's not fun in this business, you're not going to get rich in it, so you better enjoy it. So, but our kids, there's a fine line. We got to keep getting better, but you can't beat on each other every day. If you go do that, they get real tired of it. And so, but the bottom line, yes, it is fun, and everything, everybody's, they say the fun's in the winning, but this bunch is, especially the older kids in this bunch have had to go through some tough times, and so I'm proud that they've had this much success.
Yeah, it has been fun to watch. Me, I'm not from Plainview, but it's fun to see all the success. Well, Coach, talk about the fan support. It has been unreal. Had great crowd going to Good Hope last night. And these kids feed off that energy.
Sure. They know when they come out there that, if there's a crowd there or not, and if it's loud and all that kind of stuff. And, I got to hand it to our crowd. We've been in the 4A region. We don't play a whole lot of teams from DeKalb County or, from the mountain. So, when we go on the road, we go to Huntsville every time. So our crowds have traveled well all year. Well, there's been a lot of games that would have as many there as the home team had. And so that's a big deal, especially in today's world when you got so many things that people can do.
Well, Coach, one question I want to ask about this week, of course, at the beginning of the year, all coaches want to be practicing and playing on Thanksgiving weekend. So how's your preparation changed? Because all the kids are out this week. It's the biggest game of the year coming up this week. It's a semifinal game against a very good unbeaten Anniston team. How does your preparation, how does that change going into the game next Friday night?
Well, big thing we do is we let the kids have a say in it because, which would you rather do? Some kids are going to come late, some early and all that. But I think we'll be Monday through Thursday. We'll practice from 8 to 12. Thursday probably be shorter. Now that's meetings and everything. And then Friday we've said, but I couldn't repeat it right now because I don't even know because I'll be up there all day. So I'll have to look and see what we've written down, but it'll be something like that. But it'll pretty much be there all day on Friday, getting ready to play. But it's important they go to their meet with their families on Thanksgiving Day. We've invited any of them that don't have a place to go; they can come meet with us. But they're willing to have a break. But it's special to play on Thanksgiving. It's a little bit different than playing any regular time because it's one of those deals when you're playing and a lot of people are playing basketball and you haven't started basketball yet because you're still playing. So that's it's just a little different atmosphere. And also when you play after Thanksgiving, you have people at the ball game that probably haven't been here since the last time you played after Thanksgiving.
Right.
So they're either in town or it's just a little bit different. So it's a special time, and we want it special for our kids.
Well, I want you to give us a kind of a scouting report on this Anniston team coming in. They're unbeaten on the year. And I know you played them early. Phil and I talked about it earlier in the program tonight. You played them in a jamboree. We just didn't know it was going to be later in the year. You was going to play them again with a lot on the line. So kind of give us a scouting report of this Anniston team next week.
Well, they're very physical. Very physical. They got a lot of speed. Have a really good quarterback. They're definitely a top 4 football team. I think it gives us a little confidence playing with them because, they're one of those teams when they come on the field tilts a little bit. So we played them in fall jamboree, the fact that we could stay on the field with them and all that kind of stuff. I know they've gotten better. I know we've gotten better, and so jamborees are just what they are. They're jamborees, and it's very hot at that time. You playing a ton of people in them things and all that kind of stuff. So, but they'll be a very good football team. They'll be a very good football team. But we've said all along, we can't control who's on the other side. We can only control what we can control, and that's us. And so we just got to get ready to play. And we talk about faceless opponents and no scoreboard, and let's go play till it's over. And if we're good enough to win, we'll win. If we're not, then we don't have nothing to hang our hat about.
Well, Coach, before we let you go, Phil and I want to congratulate you. We understand it was the 300th win last night in the state of Alabama, 331 overall. It's been a great 43 years, and, man, you've got a great football team headed into a big game next week, and we appreciate you visiting with us tonight, and good luck next week against Anniston.
Well, thank you so much, and my whole staff has done a great job. I know me and Jimmy get all the press or whatever. My whole staff has done a great job. The volunteers and the ones that's, on the, works at school. But we put in a lot of hours and asked them to do a lot of things. And I'm real proud of them. They've done a great job. Basically, I'm mature.
And it's all paying off right now, Coach. Congratulations and good luck next week.
Thank you.
That's Coach Dale Pruitt. Great visiting with him. Big win for his football team. Phil, that's 2 weeks in a row against two very good teams that they've dominated the game.
Yeah, definitely.
It surprised me. I'll be honest with you. It surprised me last week that they dominated Alexandria at home the way they did. And then to come back last night on the road against Good Hope, who beat an unbeaten West Morgan team on the road and dominated them. And then Plainview goes over there and pretty much dominates, especially after they scored and went up 21-7. Then they just control the second half.
Well, I think there's two major wins that helped them. They beat Pisgah, a game that was a measuring stick for them. They beat Madison Academy. And I think this defense has finally come into its own. They have really gotten better week after week. And, and Jeremy runs a difficult defense. I've heard people talk about a lot of terminology, a lot of things that are hard to understand, but evidently it's all coming together because they played very well. And speaking of Thanksgiving week, what he talked about and what's special about that and what the kids are going to find out is when you eat on Thanksgiving Day, and I went through this same thing. We had practice on Thanksgiving morning. Well, then you go eat dinner, you're with family, friends, there's a bunch of people around that normally aren't around, a whole bunch of people around, and you get to listen to all the stories of the playoff games the week before, the 2 weeks before, the 3 weeks before, and then the game coming up Friday, and you sit and you go, this means as much to them as it does to me, and I'm playing tomorrow.
Right.
And so that's what makes it, and they're going to figure this out when they eat Thanksgiving dinner, that how important this moment is for the community. And that will make them feel a lot better about what they've been through because it means so much, not only to them, but everybody in that community. So that's what makes it special about practicing on Thanksgiving week.
He made the comment that Anniston tilts the field when they run on the field. Well, after being up there and when the team walked in we were up there for their team of the week, they kind of tilted the gym when they walked in because they've got some pretty big dudes too.
Yeah.
At Plainview.